country on God's green earth. And frankly, the city on the hill needs a brand new leader.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Tim Scott.
Hello, California. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a seat. Thank you so much. I am so excited to still be in California. You guys look like the future of the Republican Party right here. I love it. I love it. I know America can do for anyone what she's done for me. It's why we're focusing on restoring hope, creating opportunities, and protecting the America we all love. And protecting America starts with backing the blue. We must stand up and thank God for every law enforcement officer who serves in our communities. The left wants to defund the police, demoralize the police, and demonize the police. We should respect the police, refund the police, and thank God Almighty they're willing to run in when everybody else is running out. If we're going to protect America, I'm about to get off the stage. I'm going to preach to y'all right here in the middle of the audience. Let's have a conversation about the goodness of America and the land of the living. If we're going to protect America, we also must close our southern border.
Good man.
Thank you. We should build the wall. Don't talk about it. Get her done. Thank you very much. Without any question, think about this. Joe Biden is selling off the construction material to finish the wall. Okay. For pennies on the dollar, he's selling off the construction material to finish the wall. For $10 billion in a nation that spends $7 trillion, we should finish the wall. And for another $5 billion, we could use the available military-grade technology to stop fentanyl from coming to our country and killing 70,000 Americans in 12 months. Let's get the job done. And we've had over 200 people on our national security watch list caught at our southern border. Thousands flying over from China to walk across our southern border. Folks from Iran caught on our southern border. And if we are going to restore hope in this nation, we have to make sure that every single parent and every single zip code has quality education choice for their kids. When parents have a choice, the kid has the best chance to succeed in life, and the party that stands strong for parents is the Great Opportunity Party, the GOP. I will say, if we are to win the education debate in this nation, we are going to have to break the backs of the teachers' unions. They're standing in the doorhouse, trapping poor kids into failing schools and out of their best future. And if we are going to create opportunities in this nation, we are going to have to protect the goose that lays the golden eggs. It is our free markets and capitalism that has transformed poverty from sea to shining sea. America is the greatest country on God's green earth, and every single one of us should be proud to be an American. Let's chat.
I always love our chats. Thank you so much for sitting down with us again.
Of course.
So we just came off the debate in my hometown of Simi Valley.
Yes.
It was lovely to be up there. How are you feeling about the debate?
Oh, it was so much fun. One of the things, if you want to have good debate prep, turn to WWE wrestling. It's great prep for debates in our party. We should understand the differences between the candidates on the stage. And sometimes that contrast creates a little tension, but tension is actually good for growth. Muscle grows under tension, so we have to make sure that the muscle to fight for the future of this nation is strong as humanly possible, because we should all know that Bidenomics is devastating families around this nation, but a president who's weak on the southern border is destroying the future of this country. And his spending levels are so high that it is just undeniable, unbelievable, and unacceptable for the greatest nation on earth for a child born today to have a $100,000 tab to the federal government. It's wrong. We deserve better.
We absolutely do. I loved watching all of you guys mix it up on the debate. We're a coalition party. There is going to be differing ideas, and that's okay in the Republican Party. It won't happen on the other side, though.
No, they are. The one thing about Democrats is that they walk in lockstep. They're quite tribal, but when it comes to voting, they stick together. We as Republicans, we're more entrepreneurial. We wake up wanting to figure out how to have a fight over something where we agree sometimes and disagree, but we'll do it anywhere, at any time, with anyone. But then we need to make sure that we rally around firing Joe Biden.
Absolutely.
Because once we fire Joe Biden, we have to fire Merrick Garland. Clean out the DOJ. I'm not sure if y'all know who Randy Weingartner is at the Department of Education, but hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more. She's got to go too.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about California.
Yes.
We are a Super Tuesday state. We are early in the process. And, last time around didn't matter because there was an incumbent in the race. But now, being a early state, it's a big deal.
Yes.
We have 169 delegates up for grabs. Now, one of the questions that I get is, what are you hoping to hear from the candidates that are coming to California? Now, my question to you is, what is the message that you hope to deliver to the Californians that says that you're the best candidate for 2024?
Well, there's no doubt that the truth of my life destroys the lies of the radical left. Number one, I have had the privilege of living the American dream, coming from a single-parent household, mired in poverty in the deep South, where people said, this will not work for you. America is not the opportunity that you think it could be. My mother believed that prayer was the key, and faith unlocks the door. My mentor taught me, can I get an amen? My mentor taught me that personal responsibility was necessary. You can't blame your dad because he's not around. Don't blame your mom because she's working 16-hour days. Look in the mirror and blame yourself. What I want Californians to know is that all things are possible in this nation. And I have 4 basic principles. Number 1, if you're able-bodied in America, you work. Number 2, if you take out a loan, you pay it back. Number 3, if you commit a violent crime, you go to jail. And number 4, if God made you a man, you play sports against men.
We had a PPIC poll that came out earlier this week, and it talked about the economy being the #1 issue for Californians. I know you have an economic plan. How are you going to help Californians get back on track so we're not hurting so much?
First thing you do is you have to adopt and embrace my idea called the Made in America plan. It creates 10 million new jobs, starting with about 3 million jobs by allowing this nation to excavate our oil, our gas, our energy, set America's energy resources free. Let's become energy, not independent, energy dominant. We should dominate the energy markets in the world. We have the resources to do so. That could create more than 3 million jobs. With innovation, we could create another 2 million jobs. In the last 25 years, we've lost over 100,000 factories. Let's create high-tech manufacturing jobs, bringing home tens of thousands of factories, creating millions of jobs by using technology and lowering taxes to take our jobs back from China and around the world and reshore those jobs in America. We've done it before, we can do it again. In 2017, I wrote the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, one of the 3 major authors. We lowered taxes from 35% on the corporate side down to 21%. We gave a 20% reduction for small businesses. We repatriated or brought home $1.7 trillion. We took unemployment to the lowest levels for African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians in the history of the country. I created opportunity zones that brought $70 billion into the poorest communities, and not 1 red cent was a federal tax dollar. We can do it. We've done it once. Let's do it again.
Recently, it seems that every state has become a border state.
Absolutely.
We had, in 2017, it would be 25,000 coming across the border in a month. Just this week, in 3 days, we had 30,000.
Yes.
Your former colleague, Vice President Harris, has been the border czar. I think that she has not been doing a very good job.
She's done a terrible job. I'm moving away from the words Kamala Harris really quick right here. Continue, please. Continue.
What would you do differently than our border czar?
Yeah, the first thing we have to do is reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy. The second thing we should do is reinstate Title 42. COVID is over, but fentanyl is killing 70,000 Americans. We could have another health emergency like Title 42 that would reinstate lower levels of illegal immigration. And of course, the third thing you do is to reinstate the asylum policy that requires people to seek asylum in a country contiguous or closer to theirs. That plus closing the border using the $10 billion, the $5 billion for the military-grade technology, those 5 things we could get done quick, fast, and in a hurry.
I'm a mom. You've
Yes.
met both of my girls.
Cutie pies right there.
Yes, they are.
Someone had a birthday yesterday, I believe it was.
She did. Happy birthday, Abby.
Happy birthday.
This next generation is being left behind. Here in California, we're 50th out of 50 states when it comes to literacy.
Yes.
Less than a third of our children are performing at grade level when it comes to math and science. Less than 50% are reading at grade level. And because of what has happened here with the lockstep with the teachers union, we've seen how it's affected our children. And you talked about on the national level, Randy Weingarten and the National Teachers Union. What would you do differently with what is going on in today's education system?
A couple things. Number one, I created something called Protecting Our Kids is Empowering Our Parents. And within that plan is a Parent's Bill of Rights. Parents should have the ability to know exactly what their kids are being exposed to in school. Number two, they should have the right to opt out of electives. You teach your kids about gender, sex education, and the issues, not forcing it down the throats of our kids. Number three, make sure that every parent knows exactly what's being discussed with the adults in the school system and their minor kids. And then finally, we don't need CRT. we need ABC. We need to quit indoctrinating kids and start educating kids. And then finally, only 14% of our kids understand the rich, provocative history of the United States on grade level. We have to get back to civics and history and mathematics, as they used to say, arithmetic. We have to get back to the basics. We are failing our kids. We can turn that around, frankly, on day one. Break the backs of the teachers' unions. Introduce choice, charter, public, private, homeschool, all choice.
All right, I've got one last question for
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
It's been about a year and a half since we sat down and had a conversation like this. How have you changed, or do you think you've stayed the same as a senator and a candidate for President of the United States?
I will say this. Number one, thank you for being such an amazing leader in this state. You've done a fabulous job. I've had the great privilege of traveling this country for the last several months. The one thing that has changed in me, I loved America before I started. I love Americans even more now. We live in the most remarkable nation on earth. We believe in each other. Every place I go, whether it's Iowa or New Hampshire, Texas, California, all across this nation, what I run into are people who are strong and resilient, who love America and love their neighbors. I've also learned that turning off the craziness in the news is good for your soul. That sometimes the less you hear on TV, the better you feel about your neighbor. And one of the reasons why I said just Wednesday night that America is not a racist country, it's because A, it's true, and B, part of the challenges that we're facing today are being relegated to race and class. The radical left will use any issue, any person, any group to hold on to their political power at our expense. There is a force in this country that is insidious, it's sinister, and it loves power so much that it will use race and class to polarize our country to maintain their power. And the more I travel, the more I realize that that is a lie from the pit of hell. That the average person in this country will go the extra mile for someone who will go the extra mile for themselves. We live in the most remarkable country, and it's about time we celebrated it.
Amen. Senator Scott, thank you so much. I know we got to get you on a plane. We appreciate you being at the California Republican Party. Senator Tim Scott.